Hello everybody, this is Crazio, in some games referred to as Crazilla, games like Call of Duty and Dota. A couple of days ago, me and my friend Fragile, also known as Fragzilla, achieved the Night of the Living 3 achievement, which basically means that we survived 15 waves in the arcade game Left to Die, the Night to Die mode. This is my first cast or tutorial video, or whatever it's called. I'm not an English native speaker, so my English might sound sloppy, and I hope all of you who are watching this will forgive me for it. I don't know if this will be my first or my last cast / tutorial video. I just wanted to share this with the community. It took me and my friend a couple of days and tries before we were able to beat this achievement. So I thought I wanted to share this with all of you who are stuck with it. Know that I'm a platinum player on European servers, and my friend is in Gold League, so we are by far pro-like. Basically everybody or everyone should be able to beat this achievement. The game starts at about 2 minutes 30 in-game time. Basically what you do is start up your macro. What's important to use these choke points. What we did after several tries is we placed our factories, or basically our buildings, in front of these or in these choke points. I did it behind my bunker. I don't know why my friend is doing it in front of the bunker. Basically what you want to do is lose this bunker at around wave 4 or 5. It's quite kind of sad that we do not see the wave counter. I think there will be notifications in game several times. Note that there is this science facility in the middle where you can get nice upgrades. Me and my friend decided to go for the bunker upgrade at first and the siege tank upgrades. I don't know if that's the best thing to do, but basically siege tanks rock this arcade. So yeah, therefore we chose to do siege tanks first. Note that glides are very good as well. They have 7 range. Oh, there we go, it's starting. Some other important stuff is the vultures. They have deploy spider mines. Basically they do AoE damage everyone who is in their range. They do pretty sick damage versus light units. As you can see, they two-shot these infested Terrans. So at start build these, build a couple. They're also pretty handy if you're starting to get overwhelmed. Then you can use the spider mines. My friend also decided to place the buildings behind the bunker, which is pretty important. As you saw, at around 3 minutes, hunterlings will spawn. They are light units, so you can focus them down with your vultures. Note that at 4 minutes, at the 4-minute mark, there will be a very big spawn. So that will be the time that you have to close this gap. As you can see, I'm quite slow with it. I could use my barracks. The reason why I ain't doing this is because a barracks has 1000 HP and my factory has 1250, which makes a big difference. Well, as you can see, this bunker is almost falling, although it's getting repaired. At 4 minute 40, there will be 5 hunterlings at each of these choke points. And furthermore, it's important that you get these bunkers up and rolling. The reason why you should use bunkers is obviously because your marines are protected and they get 1 extra range. And note my placement of vultures. I decided to place them here. Basically they can shoot stuff before they reach this first bunker. My friend is doing that. Well, he isn't. I guess he will be doing that in a minute. At around 5 minutes I took my second refinery. I think I started getting gas at around 4 minutes. Minerals are way more important than gas at the beginning. You have to get 2 or 3 bunkers right away, and you have to fill them up with marines. Vultures only cost minerals. So we're almost at the 6-minute mark. That's when the first kaboomer will spawn. And here it is. It's a very slow unit. It's slow but fat, 600 HP, 0 armor, but note it is armored. Not a big deal at the start. The marines will be able to take it down. For some reason I'm not using the spider mines in this try. What you can do is, for example, at the bottom you can place your vultures here on this corner, and when the kaboomer is around here you can place a mine, and then he will actually be attacking the mine with its snout, preventing him from hitting your buildings. Could be helpful. The hunterlings will keep spawning. They're light units, so my vulture will take them down very easy. Note that I'm not filling up these bunkers with 2 extra marines. I'm actually waiting for marauders because more armored units will be spawning. I forgot to mention that at around 6:30 we took our first bunker upgrade, or the bunker upgrade, simply because you get more HP and obviously the 2 extra spots. On 7:30 or 7:40 even, 2 kaboomers will spawn at each choke point. Not a big deal. My friend is looking good as well. This building is getting a couple of hits. Note that at some point I actually took the planetary fortress upgrade pretty early. My friend decides to build a bunker. And the reason why we're doing this, because at around 10 minutes hunterlings will be crawling over this wall and will be attacking your mineral line, so you want to protect them. In some of the tries we actually were left without any SCVs. We didn't notice it because we were too focused on the choke points. So it's very important to get a planetary or a bunker. I actually think the bunker upgrade is the better option because a planetary costs 150 Vespian gas. Note that you do not have that much because you want to be buying tanks, marauders, and eventually you might want to build Goliaths. Note this command center which I'm building. At some point, I think around 12:30, the infested will start attacking these debris, or these debris. I think it's actually quite random. We had tries where they first attacked this side, and for some reason in this try they went for this side at first. So basically have one player wall up this side with buildings. You will be seeing me building more factories here. My friend will be starting to build his command center here as well in about a minute. Oh, another kaboomer, nothing fishy. No big deal. And I already got my Terran building plating upgrades at my engineering bay. It's here. Here are the hunterlings in the mineral line. Well, as you can see, the planetary fort is quite important, as is this bunker. Well, 3 marines in the bunker clears those hunterlings as fast as a planetary fortress. So I guess if you put in 2 or 3 more marines, I think it's better than the planetary. Well, they should be starting to attack the sides pretty soon. And note that I already have these missile turrets because in a couple of minutes they will be spawning spotters, which have an ability which is called corruption, and it basically disables buildings. I don't know how it exactly works because for some reason when I click them they have these big timers, I think about 20 seconds or something, and basically they can disable your buildings, and at other times they have like this cooldown of 4 or 5 seconds. I'm not quite sure how the mechanism works for those spotters, another hunterling in the mineral line here as well. Well, the planetary is better than the 3 marines, so it seems. Maybe because it has more range, which I'm not sure of. Or maybe because I had this marauder here. No, it doesn't have more range. They started attacking the sides, or at least the northeast side. And I made this planetary because it has sick armor and a lot of HP. And at some point they will be spawning tanks, which basically do massive damage on your buildings. These aberrations are spawning as well. They're quite heavy units. Let's see if I can select another. Well, not another aberration. It's basically a ultralisk, only without the cleave, I think, and walks over all these small units. The spotters are already dead because of the marines in this bunker. Here you can see it. They have pretty much HP, do nice damage versus structures, and this is the corruption ability. And as you can see, this bunker is unable to attack, and these 2 poor marines have to take you down, at which they fail. And eventually this will be taken out. For some reason we do not have the tanks still. I cannot see how much minerals he has, or how much science thingy or Zerg biomass he has. Not a spotter. As you can see, the cooldown of this, oh, it's even longer. It's probably 40 seconds. Yeah, it is. If you can take it down before those 40 seconds end up, you will be without a problem. Note that the planetary fortress actually does splash damage in a small area, and for some reason this debris is actually helping me, which is quite nice. Well, this is walled off pretty okay as well. Debris is still there. This turret took some damage, no big deal. And as you can see, I'm actually saving up my money for the tanks, which should be arriving pretty soon. There they are. Oh, those are the medics. And the reason why I took these units is to heal the SCVs in a bit, and at around 22 minutes they will be spawning worms, those nidus worms, in your base, and you basically need a mobile army. I decided to go for a big bio ball. I don't know if it's best. It might be better to have a lot of Goliaths because they have extra range. They have 7 range, but I think a line of Marine, Marauders and Goliaths is best. Although you have to get both upgrades for your mech and your bio ball. As you can see, I decided to go for the bio. As you can see, I'm getting swarmed a bit, no big deal. This factory will be standing, no problem. This infested marine is starting to shoot my vultures, no biggie. Another spotter here doing some wicked shit, and these marines will clean it up. Well, my friend is still doing okay. Choker at around 17 minutes. They basically have this lash ability or something, or this pull ability, similar to the new Zerg flying unit, only it actually chokes units, so they take damage when they are pulled. And I don't actually think they are getting pulled, but basically they take damage. Oh, it actually pulls towards target, but it can't cross the ramp, that's why they're still standing here. And these buildings prevent from the choker from pulling them to, well, this area here. So chokes aren't a big deal. They have armor, or there are armored units, so tanks are nice, marauders are nice, which do extra damage versus armored units. And this is exactly the reason why I put marauders in my bunkers. They get 1 extra range, so they're up to 7 range. this siege breaker is getting a nice amount of kills. The support tank is getting slammed. It couldn't spawn on this side because all these units were here, or all these SCVs. Note my placement is quite bad at this choke point. This building cannot be repaired because of this tank. No SCVs can go around here. Note that the placement here is a lot better. This SCV has access to all the buildings around him, so all the buildings can get repaired. Note that repairing your vehicles is very important as well. Repairing is a lot cheaper than buying a new one. My friend's placement is actually quite good. All the buildings are pretty accessible, but I guess that's because of the placement of these tech labs and these reactors. I'm starting to get a nice amount of siege tanks. For some reason I still didn't pull this siege tank away. As you can see, I'm looking for a spot where I can put down my siege tank or deploy my siege tank, so this SCV has access to all the buildings and all these tanks, so he can repair them. Two more chokers. Unable to do damage, which I like. And I think we're up to a point where I'll start fastening the speed of this replay, basically because nothing much will be happening. I'll slow it down in a bit when it's getting more hectic again. Big massive circ here, just do nothing, fine with me. Poor tank is stuck on the wrong side of the wall, no big deal. Note that at 22 or something around now, Nidus worm will spawn, so you need this mobile army. My friend has a small mobile army, I think, yeah, only vultures and a couple of marines, not that big. There's the Nidus worm. All these tanks are in a nice position, but undeployed. These siege breakers will deal some nice damage as well. Note that I'm stuck in this choke point and half my units are unable to attack. These aberration pretty sick, 450 HP, 2 armor, and do quite a lot of damage considering the weapon speed. Well, this planetary fortress is pulling stuff towards him as well. Note that my army is almost dead. Yeah, it is. And for some reason we were able to pull this off. And poor Marauder just running around doing nothing. I pulled my tanks down to kill this Nidus worm. Note the big amount of HP it has. 1 armor, not that a big deal. Planetary fortress will be killed. Yes, it will. Our poor SCVs will be choked. And we have a gap in our wall. Luckily for us, no real units are going through this choke point, which gives us some time to rebuild the command center, which my friend will be doing right away. Nice. I will be placing a couple of tanks here, my friend as well. And note that I placed the siege tank away from this factory, so 3 SCVs can repair this factory, and that will be very important when the tanks will arrive. 4 boomers at around 2430, no big deal, no spotter. This wall's already closed, and these siege breakers are doing sick damage, 130, compared to a normal tank which only deals 75 damage. These masses of infested Terrans are no big deal. Tanks will kill them no problem. And I think I'm starting to get my army back up again. I think. Well, I'm not building that much. I'm basically upgrading. I'm upgrading my bio because more of those Nidus worms will be spawning. I missed this tank. Basically this planetary fortress is enough to hold it. Note that its tank has an ability which does 300 damage to buildings, and I think it's on a cooldown of like 5 or 10 seconds or something. And that's exactly the reason why I'm not closing these, or why we are not closing these choke points with bunkers. Bunkers only have 55 HP when upgraded. So basically they're a 2-hit or 2-shot, and tanks do decent damage with their normal attacks. And these buildings are far more resilient than the bunkers. As you can see, my friend already has 2 depleted minerals, or 1, I don't know how many there were. Not a Nidus worm, 27, and it's actually spawned on a nice position for us. A lot of my tanks are able to hit it. As you can see, I do not have that much or that big of an army, but my tanks will be clearing it. My planetary will be attacking the units, which once you attack the siege tank, at least the Nidus worm is dead. Note that Nidus worms and tanks get increased what you call HP along the game is running, or the further you advance in the waves. I do not know exactly at which wave we are at the moment. I think around 10 or something. At some point you will get a message here and you'll see at what wave we are. And for some reason these aberrations are doing nothing, which is perfectly fine by me. A lot of what are they called again? Hunterlings, no big deal. Note that the Zerg is actually getting upgrades as well, so it's very important that you get your upgrades as well. If you do not, your Marines will do basically no damage. And I guess this is a point where I can speed up again. Notice that around 30 minutes your first refinery will be empty. So it's very important that you keep your siege tanks alive, because when this refinery is empty as well, you will not be able to build planetary fortresses or Goliaths or tanks. And basically I'm now starting to get all these upgrades for the extra units, the free extra units. I actually think it's quite nice to get these early, because if your SVs are for some reason unable, or if you are unable to micro them fast enough to a burning building, this upgrade will prevent it from burning down. I actually think the perdition turrets are nice as well as you advance, because of the Nidus worms. I'm not sure, at least we're not building them at the moment. Stanks 3000 HP already. No, that was the skill that I was talking about. Headbutt deals massive damage to structures. And boom, there it goes. Well, this is going okay. And there you have perdition turrets, another couple of SCVs, which are nice for extra repairing. Tech reactors, which basically act as a reactor and a tech lab, which you probably know from the campaigns. The Wings of Liberty campaign. My friend took all the weapon upgrades for the mech. I think that's the correct choice, simply because you do not want your siege tank to get damaged, and if you're doing it alright, they won't. Maybe because of a couple of chokes or spotters, but they're not that heavy on your tech. Well, as you can see here, I had some bad placement. Every unit that I will be making from these buildings will spawn on the wrong side. As you can see, I actually made a waypoint like this, simply because else it might spawn here. If I use this building, it will definitely spawn here. So I'm not using this building. So this tech reactor is actually quite useless. Note that this upgrade will be quite fancy later on, or actually before the first worm spawns. The Nidus worm, simply because your tanks will be hitting Nidus worms and your army will be standing close to the aberrations, which are melee units, and if you have this upgrade, your units will hardly be taking any damage from your own siege tanks. So keep that in mind if you're still having trouble with clearing this achievement. Shaped blast or something is the way to go, I think. Something we figured out during this game, because this is our first victory of the Night to Die beyond wave 15, which is the achievement, that if you pick all these researches, you actually get minerals instead of biomass. I actually think one biomass is 25 minerals, I'm not sure, we'll see that in a bit when we researched everything. A lot of these hunterlings, which deal no damage at all, which is perfectly fine by me. Big spotter does nothing, gets cleared away by the bunkers, or the marines in the bunkers. Note that we're starting to have a big army. My friend is going marauders only simply because the Nidus worms are armored units, and obviously marauders do extra damage or deal extra damage to armored units. Yeah, Goliaths, note that they have 8 range. As you can see, they can attack from behind the marauder and the marine line, which is pretty sick. They also do pretty good damage versus air, 2 attacks, 26 armor, 2 armored on a spotter. So if you're having a lot of trouble with spotters, I think Goliaths are the way to go. Yeah. Only 2 more upgrades to go. Note that a normal Goliath obviously does less damage to air. I think when they have 3 upgrades they do 22, but they still have 2 attacks and 8 range. Another stank, 4000 HP, 3/3, 5 armor. So basically marines do half the damage they normally do. And see this bad placement of me and my tank. This factory starts burning, so I'll pull this tank right away. Right away, that's the way to go, I think. And now 2 SCV should be able to repair this, and this SCV has a mental issue, it seems. More kaboomers, another choker, does nothing. And the kaboomers, I'm not sure if they're actually getting more HP. I don't think they do, only extra upgrades. At the moment I'm at 2 upgrades for my mech and 3/2 for my bio, which is pretty good, I think. Am I researching the 3/3? Yes, I am, and my last upgrade for my mech, which should help out a lot. These aberrations, well, still nice damage. Note that my friend is getting a hard time down here. Note that compared to the normal mode, the normal, the brutal, or the hard mode of the campaign mission, the co-op campaign mission as it's called, you do not actually have rest time in between. With the normal mode you have these daytime where you can clear out all these buildings and where you have time to redo your macro, redo your buildings, build up your army. Here you actually have to do everything at the same time. So yeah, your micro should be okay. As I mentioned, my friend and I are Platinum and Gold League in European servers, so we're actually quite bad. And I'm thinking of going to Diamond if I'm able to. I'm actually doing some 1v1s, well, not as we speak obviously, but in my free time I'm doing some 1v1s, and I think I should be able to get to Diamond in a couple of weeks. Anyway, back to this game. 38 minutes. Well, I'll just speed this up because everything's going well. Our defenses look solid. Only the big problems are the worms. Let's just skip ahead till another worm is there. Another stank. 5000 HP. Pretty sick. And this is actually the point where I'll start helping my friend, I guess, because this factory almost gets killed. Same for this barracks and this bunker. And yeah, there goes. He is able to repair. He should be repairing his barracks. Yeah, he is. Just 1 SCV could be better. This bunker is almost getting killed. 14 HP, nice, just in time. Look at this mass of aberrations going mental as well here in the north. And there they go. Slapping themselves against my factory. Go, go, boys. I'll slow it down. Another worm, which has pretty bad spawning place for me. Right next to my mineral line, mineral field even. And I think a couple gets killed actually. Well, only one, I think. And yeah, go repair this refinery, which does nothing. And these Outback Hunters look pretty awesome if you ask me. 3 wheels, nice flames, some whatever the things on the sides are. Anyway, at like 40 minutes we got overwhelmed. I think we're still not at wave 15, or at least I didn't notice the notification. And as you saw at 40:30, the 5th worm already spawned right next to my mineral line. Note I'm almost out of minerals, so all the minerals I will be getting are not yet from biomass, because we still have to research reapers. And I'm placing these random prediction turrets for worms, because I think another worm will be spawning. At 24 minutes, a stank with 6000 HP, pretty sick. We'll be slapping this planetary fortress. Gets cleaned up pretty easily. Cooldown of 5 minutes on the headbutt, which does sick damage. Reaper, as you can see, let's see. Well, these do not give biomass, unfortunately. Would be pretty awesome if they did. I do not agree with this placement of this bunker, simply because of the fact that the bunker only has 550 HP, where a barracks or a factory has a lot more. The armor is the same, I think. Can't check it because all my bunkers are filled with marines. Yes, they are. My Vespene is almost empty, so I just put in 2 SCVs. Not that many minerals anymore. My friend has quite a lot on this mineral field, to be honest. Well, not that many Vespene gas. The 6th worm at 43 minutes. And it gets cleared pretty fast because we were focusing it down. And note that all our upgrades are there, at least the tech upgrades. The siege breaker has a sick amount of kills. He is commander. Yes, commander. This tank even has more. Notice the damage difference. I actually think it's better to switch these two around, because at some point, if the aberrations, or the spotters or the hunterlings get up this ramp, and they will be able to attack this siege breaker. And if there are some infested marines here, they will be shooting the siege breaker, which is pretty bad because this unit almost does twice the damage as a normal tank. Here you see 30 minerals. I actually think it's 10 minerals for each biomass. I think, not sure. And that will be your only income when these mineral fields will be depleted. So far our defense is still holding up. I'm pulling my units to the bottom right side simply because of this sick stank with 7000 HP. Well, it doesn't get any more armor or weapon upgrade, luckily for us. This factory is getting in the slapping of his life. Almost got taken out by the headbutt. Lot of spotters. Note that they're still in, the corruption is still in cooldown, which is in our favor. If they start corrupting these bunkers, I will be in serious trouble. Luckily I won't. Yeah, I took the range upgrade. It's the scope like icon in your engineering bay. It gives your turrets extra range, I think 2 extra range, which is pretty nice, so it can more easily hit the spotters. I think this bunker will be taken out, the siege breaker as well. Pretty sad with all skills. I think he had around 500. Well, I have this nice choke point. Another Nidus worm. Luckily my friend is close by. These units are in a choke point, but still able to hit stuff, which is pretty sad. Though the Nidus worm get taken out pretty fast, so that's cool. yeah, so far so good. Still waiting for the notification, or I missed it. Anyway, this is the way to go for the achievement. There it is, wave 15, survival bonus, extra minimal minerals, extra Vespene gas, very welcome. So I can build more units and more tanks. Am I? Yes, I am. 2 more tanks. 2 tanks at a time thanks to the tech reactor. I think this upgrade is pretty sick as well, but since it costs Vespene and you will be having more minerals than Vespene gas in the end, I think it's better to just repair them with your SCVs. Your SCVs will be useless as the game prolongs anyway, because your mineral fields will be depleting. And these SCVs will basically be useless. So yeah, let them repair stuff. My friend up here killing the tank. 8000 HP. But not extra damage, so that's okay. My SCV is helping with repair. This tank is taking quite some pain before it dies. I'm pulling all my units over here as well, just in case this fortress falls, which it doesn't, luckily. So that cleared. I actually think we made it up to wave 20 or 21, into 21 I think. And this is where I should have started repairing my bunker. As you can see, these infested Terrans or infested Marines can shoot up the hill because of these spotters. And if I had more Goliaths, I would be able to take this down faster or sooner, or should be able to focus it down, which I actually should be doing. This firebed just doing some random stuff over here, taking some pain. Has 4 armor, so infested Marines do not do that much damage, only half. Corruption on the factories, no big deal. My bunkers are gone. And I'm getting a phone call for some reason. Anyway, not a Night's Worm. I'll just speed it up. This is just prolonging. See a happy ending. So yeah, that's the achievement, guys. 3rd level of, what's it called again? Night of the Living Tree. Survive 15 ways in the arcade game Left to Die, Night to Die mode. Completed by Crazy and Fragile. I hope you guys can complete it as well by watching this tutorial. There are probably more tutorials out there as well. I'm sure I'm not the only one casting this stuff. But hey, I just wanted to share this with you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. And I might be adding or posting another movie someday. Maybe some of my ladder, some of maybe some more arcades, maybe some more achievements. I'm not sure. Maybe I won't be casting anything. And there goes my planetary. And I think this is the end of us. We're getting overwhelmed. Stuff is getting in here. Game is lagging. That's probably because I'm speeding up as well. My friend is getting, well, not overwhelmed yet, so that's good. This planetary is still standing, so far so good. I'm actually rebuilding this command center for some reason, without having enough Vespene gas. And something is depleting my Vespene gas for some reason, I don't know. Maybe repairing. If that's the case, then you should definitely get this upgrade, Biosteel. Not a Nidus Worm, you're able to kill it, nice choke point there. Well, for all you are interested, 53 minutes, I think wave 17, so far so good. Note that I'm unable to build another factory here. I have to build a barracks which has 250 HP less, but I only have minerals, no Vespene gas, my geysers are empty, and my friend is speaking to me in Dutch. And I'll be saying nope, I have to go to Amstelveen. Note that I'm actually typing in English because I'm speaking English at the moment, and for some reason my brain isn't able to do both at the same time, typing Dutch and speaking English. And I'll just say that I'll be back in minutes. And me and Fragile became Master League in 2v2 today, so I'll be saying that as well. So yeah, that's the end, guys. I hope you enjoyed watching. Please leave a comment if you did. Even if you do not, you are also, well, you are allowed to post comments even if they're less nice. Well, I think I'll just stop this movie here. You're able to hold on for about 5 more minutes, but not that interesting. Nothing worth mentioning, just getting zerged all the time. Mass units, mass units. Well, until next time, people, thanks for watching and have a nice evening. Bye bye.